I saw the reading spike before I heard the crunch. It wasn't the wet snap of bones you expect when a soft biological entity meets a freight train of muscle. It was louder, like two tectonic plates deciding to argue in a library. Through the reinforced glass of the observation deck, I watched a human male stop 800 pounds of charging fury with nothing but leverage and a refusal to acknowledge the laws of physics. It was the kind of thing that makes you question your own eyes. But look, you can't appreciate the sheer insanity of that moment unless I back up about 40 minutes. We were stationed on XYO Prime. If the universe has a trash can for biological experiments that went wrong, this planet is the liner. The air is 90% spore, the water dissolves ceramic, and the local fauna view murder as a recreational sport. Our team was built for this. Borgen is basically a walking tank with anxiety, and Glip is a nervous specialist who vibrates if the wind blows too hard. And then there was Leo Vance. Evolution made a mistake, and his name is Leo. While Borgen was triple-checking the blast seals on his exosuit, Leo was standing by the airlock in what he called cargo shorts and a t-shirt that had surrendered to entropy years ago. He radiated what the galactic database classifies as Florida man energy, a terrifying mix of confidence and zero survival instinct. "I'm just going to grab some samples," he said, popping the airlock before I could even authorize the safety protocols. He went outside voluntarily into an atmosphere that melts copper. Why? He wanted pretty moss. I watched him on the monitors, wincing every time he touched an acidic fern. His skin turned red, blistered slightly, and he just slapped it like it was a minor annoyance. A normal species would go into shock. Leo just muttered something about humidity. That's when the perimeter sensor screamed. It wasn't a warning ping, it was a full-blown biometric cascade. A Razor M Titan had locked onto him. Imagine a shark crossed with a bulldozer, then give it a bad attitude and legs. It was closing the distance at 60 miles per hour. I slammed the comm channel open, my voice cracking. "Leo, evacuate. You have a Class 5 Predator incoming." His voice came back through the static, sounding infuriatingly bored. "Yeah, hang on. This moss is tricky. Give me 5 minutes. You have 5 seconds. I watched the thermal signature of the Titan merge with Leo's. It didn't stalk. It fired itself like a missile. Glip covered his eyes. Borgen charged his plasma cannon, but he was too late. The Titan broke the treeline, a blur of claws and teeth. And Leo, he didn't run. He turned around and sighed. Casual immortality through sheer ignorance, I swear. He braced his legs, and for a second, I thought the sensors were glitching because the human wasn't retreating. He was stepping into the charge. I expected pink mist. I mean, physics is physics, right? Mass times acceleration equals a dead primate. But what I saw on that monitor defied every biological imperative in the known galaxy. Leo didn't dodge. He twisted. The Titan's claws shredded his shirt, deep, ugly gouges spraying red across the ferns. But Leo had locked his arms around the beast's forelegs. It was insane. It was suicide. And then he heaved. I saw the tendons in his neck stand out like steel cables as he used the creature's own momentum against it. For a split second, 800 pounds of apex killing machine was airborne. Gravity took over. The Titan slammed into a tree trunk with a sound that vibrated the floor of our observation deck. The beast scrambled up, dazed, shaking its massive head. It looked at Leo. Leo looked at it. And then the human did the unthinkable. He rolled his left shoulder, which was definitely hanging at the wrong angle, grabbed his own arm and slammed it into a tree. Pop percussive maintenance. Leo grunted over the comms, rotating the joint like he just fixed a loose hinge on a cargo crate. The Titan froze. This was predatory confusion in its purest form. You could see the gears turning in its reptilian brain. Prey runs. Prey screams. Prey does not manually reassemble its own skeleton and then square up for round 2. The dynamic shifted in a heartbeat. The apex predator realized it was actually the prey. "Go on. Get lost," Leo barked, waving his arms. "I'm busy." The Titan, a creature that eats armored rovers, flinched. It let out a confused whine, turned tail, and vanished into the jungle canopy faster than it had arrived. The airlock cycled 10 minutes later. Leo stepped in, looking like he'd been put through a meat grinder. He was bleeding from 3 different places. His shirt was a rag, and he was grinning like an idiot. He held up a small plastic bag. "Got the moss," he announced. "It's a really nice shade of green." Borgen was already there with the medical foam, his forehands shaking as he tried to seal the gashes on Leo's chest. Eclipse was hyperventilating in the corner. You fought a titan? Borgin stammered, spraying biofoaming gel. Your adrenaline response, it's broken. Why did you not flee? Fight or flight, buddy? Leo shrugged, wincing as the foam hardened. I guess the flight switch got stuck. I sat back in my chair, staring at the blank incident report on my screen. I deleted the entry for prey species. That label was an insult. I started typing a new classification, my fingers flying across the haptic interface. Humans weren't prey. They were psychotic ambush predators who had simply forgotten they were dangerous. Leo took a bite of a nutrient bar, completely unbothered by the carnage he'd just survived. I looked at the screen, then at him. Remind me, I said, to never make you angry on a Tuesday. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.